need a microphone.
Can you hear us?
What? Okay. You're good or not? Better with a microphone?
I think so. No, you're good.
Hello? All right. So, how many of you have seen me present before? All right. I'm sorry. Maybe you should have gone to the other session. So today I'm going to do a very, very different presentation that I've ever done before. It's actually not about SAP. In a way, it is. It's about my experiences. But I think it's a very interesting topic that probably resonates with a lot of people on what you do on a regular basis, on a daily basis, or maybe what you could do. But before I get started, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. About 2 years ago or so, I met Jack De Bruyn from Amcor, right? I did an innovation event here at the ASUG. It wasn't part of the regular fall, spring, summer. It was actually in addition to. And Jack and I have become friends. So we see each other maybe every quarter. We have lunch together. We catch up. I tell him what's going on at SAP. He tells me what's going on at Amcor. And then we talk about other stuff, the hot summers and whatnot. And one time he started telling me about his son, Nico. So this is Nico, and he's Jack's son. And one time I was telling Jack, I said, you know, one of the things that I'm doing now at SAP is to try to be more active with social media. And we'll talk about it, you know, like LinkedIn, videos, etc. But we'll talk about it a little bit as we go. And he started telling me about Nico and some of the things that Nico does. So right after we had lunch, I connected with Nico in LinkedIn, and we started connecting, you know, communicating with each other, and we follow each other, and he does great stuff. And then maybe about a couple of months ago, I had lunch with him and his dad, and we kind of brainstormed. I said, well, why don't we do this presentation? Why don't we talk? You know, I think I get a lot about doing this type of stuff. I think our customers do, both internal and external. And I said, well, why don't we put together a presentation and do it at ASUG? So for those of you that seen me before, afterwards, not during, but afterwards, in private, you can tell me if it went really bad. If it goes really good, please do say it, you know, in front of everyone. All right? All right. Well, having said that, so Nico, you want to say a few words before I get started, or?
Yeah. So I'll get a microphone.
So I highly recommend when you bring your kids to work days, definitely make sure you put emphasis on doing a presentation with them. It's a great bonding experience. But I'll just give a brief background about me, Nico De Bruyn. I am an author of the book World Marketers, and basically I believe each and every one of you have a story out there, and we think we can tell it for very, very cheap on social media. So we'll be talking about that, so I'll hand it on over. But yes, bring your kids to work day and make sure that you emphasize that they're doing a presentation. It helps a lot.
Excellent, thank you. So yeah, so actually when I met with Nico, he gave me a copy of the book, and I've been reading it. I'm kind of weird on how I sometimes read books. I go back and forth, look at a chapter that I think might be interesting, read it, and then, you know, move around the book, but it's an awesome book. All right, so how many people, so about half of you have seen me present before. How many people have seen maybe some of my videos in LinkedIn and seen stuff like that? 5, 6, 7, okay. So I get asked a lot, you know, when I meet people, I say, you know, you remind me of somebody, you know, obviously because I'm now in social media making all these videos. You remind me of somebody. So I started thinking, who could it be? Who could I remind them of? So I thought of The Rock, but I hear a few laughs. Obviously, he's bald, and I'm not. All right. So I kept thinking, who else could it be that I remind people of? And obviously, he's got green eyes. All right. And then, now, do we have a match? Come on, this is the third option. I have gifts Anybody for a thermos from SAP thinks that I might look like Chris Pratt? Mala! There we go. Thank you, Mala, for saving the. I'll give it to you later. All right, guys. But joking aside, so one of the things that is interesting and funny about this is that when we're doing these videos and when we're presenting ourselves out there, what we're doing is we're exposing ourselves, and people are recognizing us and thinking of us, and we may be bringing something different to them, and they may think of us as the experts on something, or hey, he's the guy that does this or that. When I met Nico, he actually told me that you said you went to a doctors or medical convention and several people came out to you, right?
Anyone know about the medical conference HIMSS, H-I-M-S-S? 50,000 people gather, doctors gather in beautiful Orlando in the middle of March. As you can tell, having a suit in March is not the best. But I had a couple of people actually approach me and say, hey, I think I know you. And just purely based on video, which is interesting because, again, out of 50,000 people, quite a bit, but a high probability that you wouldn't know who I am. So it just goes to show you that potentially people are watching. It's kind of a great thing about social media. People are always watching.
So having said that, I'm going to show you two videos that I've created. One video is external that I actually posted in LinkedIn, and the other video is internal, because we're going to talk about external and internal. And how to approach this. So here's the first one, and I didn't say hello everyone. So a lot of people ask me, Marco, what do you do at SAP? And I say, well, I work for Innovation Services and Solutions. And they say, what is that? And what I tell them is, well, we create magic. Magic, you say? Yes, it's almost like magic. What we do is we take customers' unique requirements and we develop solutions for them. Sometimes we apply intelligent technologies and then they are able to realize their full potential. Wow. So SAP didn't just hire you for your good looks. You seem like a very intelligent guy. So seriously, at SAP Innovation Services and Solutions, what we do is make innovation real for our customers. Please contact me and learn more about it. Thanks. So, well, before I go into this, let me go back for a second. So, first of all, I'm so thankful to SAP that they didn't fire me after I posted this in social media. Right? And I did get approved. So, but the reason I wanted to show you this is because I'm kind of making fun of myself. But I'm going out there, I'm trying to convey a message, about what I do and why it's important to our customers. And it's a little short clip of what is it that I could bring as value. Okay, so that was kind of the intent in there, and it's just not one time, right? So you post this in LinkedIn, several people see it, they give you thumbs up. There's no thumbs down in LinkedIn, right? So it's a good thing. It's always thumbs up. And then you post other stuff. A lot of times I post things that are just written articles and so forth. But every once in a while I do this stuff like this. But one of the things that is important about it, and this is what this slide is all about. When I first met Nico, I said to him, I want to create a brand. And what he said immediately, he said to me, everybody already has a brand. You don't create a brand. You may reshape that brand, you may do something about the brand, but you already have it. So in his book, he's got this quote. You too are a brand, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. Okay? So that's important for us to know that, because every one of us, like any of you that work at your own company, other people within your company think of you already. They already have some idea of you. Do you want to make any comments on that?
So you might be thinking, okay, brand, that's a fun digital talk. Let's just replace the first sentence here. You too are the brand. Let's just change that to you have a reputation. It makes sense. We all have a reputation. So exactly what he's saying, you have that throughout the office. We all know the one employee that leaves 5 minutes early, comes in 5 minutes late. We all know people who work hard. That's a reputation we have. We all know it. Now just throw brand in the mix, and you just translated that reputation you have online. And this is important because, I mean, raise your hand, who would like 1 or 2 more clients? Anyone? How much does it cost you to get a client? Potentially, showing your reputation, show that your track record. You can potentially pick 1 or 2, maybe 3 up without really that much extra effort because you already have the reputation. You already put in the work. So hand that back.
Thanks. All right, so let's go to the next slide. So one of the things that I, we want to spend a few more minutes talking to you about are certain words that I threw out there that to me resonate when I think of social media. There's a lot more. Some of them are in Nico's book that I then look. You remember how I mentioned to you at the beginning that I go and look for stuff. So things that I already kind of knew, I wanted to read more and understand more. And there's just a lot of other things. So we, put out there some things. We've already talked about brand. And then, obviously the topic is social media. Social media is just a lot more than LinkedIn. For me, it's mostly LinkedIn, and I do use Twitter. I know there's other platforms, and I know started seeing that. Anybody knows what TikTok is?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're starting to say that TikTok might be, for business in the future. I do not see it yet. But I think in your book you say certain things like people didn't think Facebook was going to be what it is today, or maybe LinkedIn and so forth, right? So social media is interesting. And let me ask you, maybe I should do this. Who feels that in this group that does not use any social media? You feel like you don't. So if you don't, I'm gonna have to pick on you because you were the only.
I get a prize.
You do. You get a prize.
That's a good one.
See?
Now I'm gonna get abused.
But so for example, do you
wanna take a picture and put it on social media?
Yeah, you should do that, right?
I won't see it.
So do you maybe if you're gonna go? Do you travel a lot?
No.
No. Do you go to restaurants?
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever look them up in Yelp or how do you to figure out whether they're good or not?
No, I have an entertainment book. Discount coupons.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I'm cheap.
Still have those?
What else can we ask him and see if he's got any interaction?
This is nice. This is a good little challenge. Usually the Yelp one always gets to people. What about movies?
No.
Books? You like
No.
books? No? Wow. I often don't get stumped, but this is a good one.
Maybe
Really
we
think
can
about
convert you by the end of the session.
That's why I don't use social media. I have nothing to say about myself.
Do you have an email at the bottom of your email? Do you have an email signature?
No.
No. Wow. Oh wow. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel on this one, so I'm gonna think about it.
Let's have one for work.
At least he's not going to rate me bad on social media. All right. So the other thing is entertain. Okay, so you guys have been laughing so far. Maybe at the end you say, well, he didn't really say much, but at least I laughed for a while, right? Media sharing. So I'm going to show you an example of something that we do within SAP to actually share information using videos. And then, internal and external. So when we talk about social media, a lot of times people think, oh, it's external, but it also can be internal. So I'm going to pick on you guys for mobile meeting, but maybe you have some internal customers. Nod your head if you feel like internal customers, all right. And maybe when you have those internal customers and you maybe, are you guys in IT?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So you're a businessman. Okay. And now you have people from IT that maybe give you things, tools that you need. Okay. So maybe when you're trying to get those tools, maybe the way that is being given to you is with a lot of documentation, right? So, could it help? No, I'm not saying to substitute documentation, but I'll give you a story. I was in Florida. My mom lives in Miami. I was in there, and her water heater stopped working. While I was there, and I was leaving. This is at 7 p.m. at night, and I have a 5:30 a.m. flight. My mom's 81. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, my mom now is going to be without hot water. What do I do? What do you guys think it was the first thing I did? Anybody? For another cup.
YouTube.
Yes. Who said that? Yes. I went to
I
YouTube.
always do that, not for the glass.
But yeah, I went to YouTube. Not for
Oh,
the cup.
YouTube.
For a baseball cup? I have baseball cup. So I went to YouTube, looked it up, and there's a reset button. So I pushed the reset button and it started working. Okay, and it worked. We didn't have to replace it because it was going bad, but I was able to, do something, right away. So the reason I say that to you guys is because sometimes maybe a way to communicate information internally to our internal customers could be through a really quick video, or maybe highlights of some application that you've developed, or whatever process or procedure or whatever it is, right? And then you have further documentation. So that's what I mean by media sharing and internal and external. You're going to talk later about entertain, engage, and education, so I'm not going to touch on those. I'm just going to go and show you another video that I presented. You guys, some of you might have seen me before where I've done I did a keynote on robotic process automation, so RPA. And but I also remember SAP has 88,000 people. So we created a video to internally talk about.
So SAP has now released what's called Intelligent Robotic Process Automation, with the whole focus of infusing intelligence into the whole RPA process.
Yeah.
With this, we can integrate things like conversational AI, which allows to have natural language processing in order to communicate with SAP backend systems.
Yeah, and then the next thing is machine learning, right? So our customers are already doing a lot of different types of machine learning for predictive forecasting and support. But at the end of the day, what they get is they get a static report. So how do we take that and actually infuse it back into the whole process?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So if we have a look at other robotic process automation solutions, most of them actually connect to SAP systems because that's where customers are running in order to execute their business processes. So how about we have a single platform, we stay within SAP technology in order to automate anything related with SAP and non-SAP systems as well.
Yeah. And that's going to take them then for whenever they migrate to S4 as well, right? Because we're going to build these bots standard into the system. So customers are going to have some standard bots as well as non-standard bots, but they're already starting to use our application, our platform, whenever they actually get ready and they move to that. So that was a video that we created two versions. One's about a minute longer, and this one was a little bit shorter. But the idea is we're communicating within SAP to let people know, hey, these are some of the things that we can do. Because Chet, was for those of you that were here at the session at 11 o'clock, he was asking about, hey, do you guys know this or that or whatever? And even internally, we've got so many solutions and we've got so many areas that sometimes we have to get educated on that. So what better way than to communicate this, through maybe videos, okay? With that, I'm going to turn it over to you, and here's the clicker. Thank you. Speaking to this one, click with the other one.
Oh, perfect. Speaking of this one.
Marco,
Yes.
may I just ask a question?
Yes.
So you mentioned about SAP's RPA. So does it work only for data sitting in SAP, or does it work with data in different ERPs or other non-ERP systems?
No.
So is it an API call, or what kind of?
It could be APIs or it could be
result as the traditional ones. So let's talk about it afterward. Yeah. So,
I can help answer that question too. As you can tell, I probably know a lot about robots. So this is all fine and dandy, and one of the things that Mark actually talked about a couple seconds ago was we're using social media and these type of platforms without even really thinking about it. A lot of our days are dictated by digital technology, and if you think about it, where do you go when you want something new to eat? I know a couple of people are from San Diego in this part of the world. We have some really good food here in Phoenix, and you can ask the locals, your Uber driver, your Lyft driver, what should I eat? But that's kind of awkward. As a millennial, I don't want to talk when I don't have to, right? Anyone have that problem with their teams? Because I'm the opposite, because I love talking. Sometimes I talk too much, so there was something if I talk too much here. But seriously, that's the thing. We go on Yelp, we look at Apple Maps and see which one's closest. We see reviews. We base a lot of our day-to-day decisions on things we see online. I bet there's places you didn't even think existed until you saw them online, checked out their website and said, this is a neat little solution. And the reason I brought up email signatures, that's sometimes the best marketing. It's so cheap. You just add your LinkedIn at the bottom of every email. People can click on that, they can follow you. So this is confusing. When I first got, so I'll give a quick little background on myself. So I am a failed medical student. You do not want me giving you any advice about what to eat or any medicine. I'm typically seen as the least trustworthy guy there. So what do you do when you're a washed up medical student? Well, you go online and you ask your friends and they say, hey Nico, you're always telling me stories. Eventually you can make a career out of it. And 2 years ago I decided, wow, there's a whole other way to make money outside of medicine. So if a medical student who didn't know that you can make money outside of medicine can do this, you can too. And again, not to scare anyone, I really want you guys to do videos, and towards the end you'll see how actually simple it is. So we're gonna move on. As you can see, Marco's a lot better looking than I am, but there's 3 things that really enable your customers, both internally, externally, to understand who you are. And we can really break social media down into 3 sections. Again, I'm a simple guy. If I can't get into medical school, then I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to convey this message. All we want to do is entertain someone, educate someone, and engage with someone. So let's walk through it. Marco brought up TikTok, and unless you are under the age of 24, maybe you potentially don't know about it, but potentially you want to do a TikTok with me, we'll sing karaoke together. I'm not a singer either, so that's another career I can't do. But you have something interesting to say, and maybe it's not interesting to 99.9% of the audience, but to someone, what you have to say is pretty interesting. So we want to entertain someone. Why? Because we have to get their attention first. I guarantee you, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn and Instagram, you're scrolling through really quickly, and if something doesn't catch your attention, you don't care if someone's donating their weekend to save the world. It's not interesting. They didn't catch your attention, so why should I care? This relates to what you do. Whether you're working with your internal teams or external teams, you have to entertain them to get their attention. The average span for a millennial is going less than 5 seconds. You have 5 seconds to tell me why you're the person that I need to pay attention to. Time is my only asset, so why should I give you any of it? So entertain me. You have to get my attention. Once you have my attention, I have to like you. You gotta educate me somehow. Because with education comes trust. We know a lot of people, and we're not gonna get political in this conversation, we know a lot of people who have entertained us, but they haven't really told us any policies that they're doing, so why should we care? We don't trust them. Your teams are the same way. You can't educate someone why your tool is the best tool to use. Then why should I even give you any money? Why should I consult with you? We have to build trust. See, someone else is excited to hear me. And the last one, engage. Once you have my attention, once you trust me, you have to engage with my problems. Because yes, maybe your solution is just for accountants, but my and your customers' problems, they're unique for them. And you have to be able to engage with them back and forth. The thing about social media is it's not a megaphone. Back in mass marketing, especially with TV and radio and newspaper, it was a one-way street. I told you what I thought you wanted to hear. With engagement, it's a two-way street. It's a conversation. I don't know if you talk to some brands online. They're getting on Twitter. You can DM or do the @ sign to Coca-Cola, and they'll respond because they want to engage with you. They know if you like them, you're going to buy their products. Same for you and your company, both internally and externally. Internally, you have to get people to know what your product is. They have to know how to use it or why it's relevant to them. And then you gotta tell them why they gotta use it, because it's easier not to use them. So, we will switch it over to internal and external. Marco has a really good example about the products he showed. SAP has a lot of products. I bet, does anyone know all the products that SAP has? No? There's a lot. I went on the website yesterday and I kept scrolling through. The list kept going. I made it into a game, so it went really quickly. I still couldn't understand all the products that it had. But if you're in transportation like him, you have to know what he's up to. You have to know about the chatbots and the AI that he has. So 3 processes. He's got to get your attention. You got a lot of emails. Why should you open his? He's entertaining. If you know he's going to make a joke, it's great. Educating. He's going to tell you why you should care about this AI chatbot. So show you why you should implement it today. And last, if you have a question, he's going to prompt you to engage with him, because he can answer those questions much faster and convert you much quicker by doing that. And that relates to each and every one of your businesses, whether it's internal or external. External is the best. If you work in today's advertisement world, you know that you are bombarded every single day with ads on Google and Facebook. Anyone ever see something that they searched online come up in YouTube or the next day on Facebook? Congratulations, you're cookied! Yay! Me as a marketer, I'm excited because now I can know your question and I can give you a solution. But you don't always want that. So I have to make sure that what I do is different enough. So internal, same process. You have to catch my attention, because otherwise you're just another ad I'm going to scroll through. One of the biggest things I learned in my process as a marketer is you get a lot of ads. A lot of brands want to get in front of you. You get about 4,000 different ads every month. You're really good at now scrolling past, so I got to entertain you. I got to educate you. As a marketer, I'm always trying to get my customers to think, hey, you have a story. You started this company, you're in this industry for a reason. Tell that story, tell me what you do and how you do it. And then when I'm ready, I'll ask you a question. And just give me the right answer, I'm gonna buy from you. So, we're gonna move on to the next one about actually connecting on LinkedIn. Yay, I told you guys are gonna get started with LinkedIn. And this is a great opportunity. I know you got an email now, so all you need on LinkedIn is an email.
Everybody needs to take out your phone.
This is the
This
best
is the
time to get on your
participation
phone for
part
something.
of it.
Oh, this is really fun, trust me. We're gonna meet so many new friends today.
Everybody needs to go into LinkedIn.
So if you go to your LinkedIn app,
If you don't have LinkedIn, then see me afterwards and we'll go for that.
especially in this market, your customers are on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, let us know. But go to the very bottom, there's a little man with a little plus sign. Click on him.
Well, maybe before that, we need
Oh, this
you
one
need
right
to,
here. Yeah,
you
so
need to hit into like the little 2 people. So you have the house. There we go. Got it?
we got it. Perfect. Then you
Yeah.
want to scroll, and there's a little man with a plus sign, blue button. At the bottom, just scroll, press it. Awesome. Then what you want to do is enable your Bluetooth. Again, everyone in here is in the tech world, so we're not going to steal any of your data. This is great. You're gonna press that and enable, and then you should see a pre-populated list of people in the room. Any questions? You guys got it?
How did you get the plus sign thing?
The plus sign right here.
Oh, there? Oh, okay.
Alright.
Oh, I see, okay.
Who does not have it? On this side. Is everybody good?
This one fine,
Oh, okay.
We got it. Oh,
Discovery isn't enabled. Oh, because I don't have Bluetooth.
See, this is a great opportunity. You can now connect with people and say, hey, that one millennial, he sucks at giving presentations.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, gave you a long conversation to start.
You're from Mississippi.
Hi.
Well, you're about to have 30 more.
What do you do that for?
Meet somehow.
It's important to have friends.
Nope.
I lead
So we
innovation.
want to go ahead and, you know,
Oh,
have
okay.
friends in LinkedIn and
Who do you guys use for sales tax? Who do you guys use for sales tax?
it's not
Software for sales tax compliance.
Yeah, no, stay there.
Anybody else needs help doing this part?
And now.
If it helps, I googled how to do this last night, so I'm kind of a pro. Yeah.
Yeah.
They might be lost. I know, it's not as user friendly.
So for those, the idea is that you start doing network.
Go back.
The idea is that you start network with the people that come to the ASUG. So it's always good to network. I mean, I think that the two things that you get the most about ASUG chapter meetings is obviously the content. There may be certain things that you hear that are important and
I don't see you on here. Oh, Krish,
And the
okay.
other one is the network of people, right? Because you know, especially since it's local, right? So you get to know people within your own local area, and then become your contacts. Could be for, you know, for example, you may have a question about something in SAP. You want to know how to do it.
Let me add Andrew.
I'm online. Yeah, Andrew doesn't show up online.
How's everybody doing? Okay?
Channel Cordova.
Good. All right. So we're moving to the next step, right?
You and I already connected.
So
Is
now
that
we're gonna
one?
create
Oh,
a
this
is here,
posting
right?
together.
Okay. I see you.
Yay! Social media? No.
So who has a birthday in December? I do. All right. So you have been selected to come over here to do posting with me.
Which one? Oh! Very good.
All right. So how do we want to do this?
So this is gonna be fun. Who here has ever made a video for LinkedIn videos? No? Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is fun. So, we can't beat this. You can't beat meeting a person. But the way to scale this is through video. And right now, we're gonna do my favorite thing, which is selfie-style videos. Yes. I heard grading, so this is good. Good? Oh, okay. Well, it's okay. We can just go your camera roll. And I really want to show you how intuitive this is. Again, if you can talk to these strangers, you know, when we were growing up, stranger danger, well, you probably met a couple strangers today. Now we're going to meet strangers online. And it's going to be fun because we all trust each other.
So why don't we do this? You don't have it up? You have your app?
I'm still loading it.
Okay, we'll do it with my phone.
Alright, so click.
So you can, it might feel intimidating to get started with video. So one of the best things you can do is have someone else be the star. Yeah.
It should. You should have another little button.
Tim, I'm Marco.
I'm Marco.
And you're
Hit the
from
plus.
I'm from SAP. So is this your first time to ASUG?
Go back.
Have you been to this event several times?
Yes.
What do you get out of it?
Mostly networking with some information, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the same things.
Okay.
All right?
Whenever you're ready.
Hey Tim, I'm Marco from SAP.
Hi, Marco. Yeah, tell me.
Good. Is this your first time to the Arizona ASUG chapter?
No, it's not.
Oh, good. Well, what do you think about it? I mean, what do you get out of the ASUG chapter?
I get a lot. I mean, I appreciate the networking. That's probably the key thing. And the other thing is knowing what SAP, where they're going, what new products, that sort of stuff. At least getting a brief introduction on what they're going to do next.
That's excellent. Well, I'm happy that you came. I'm actually very happy that I came as well. And if you are watching and you have not been to the Arizona chapter, or maybe other chapters in your local area, make sure that you attend. And thank you. Boom. That's it.
Weird.
No retakes, nothing. It'll be really quick. And then we'll post it. And all of my new friends, make sure you give me a like. All right? All right. We've got about 5 to 7 minutes. Anything else that you want to bring up before we with your questions?
Yeah, the last thing is, we try to make this lively today, but the truth is that we're not going away from digital. We're only going to get more digitally connected. And this means that the people you want to hire are going to be online. The customers that you want are going to be online. So regardless if video is the best way to go, text or images, whatever you decide, just start thinking about the fact that if you want to run a marathon, you kind of have to start with the first step. So you might not get it right the first time or the next time, but eventually you'll get there. So that's my only closing remarks is we're not going back and becoming less digital savvy. So start thinking about how and why this is relevant for you. I know all of us are in business and we have an outcome. Our OKRs matter and we can do it for a lot cheaper and maybe a lot more effective online. This is my last closing remarks before we go to Q&A is we're not going back. And nor do I want it to go back because then I'd be out of the job. But regardless, we're not going back. So we will open up the floor. Any questions and answers, how SAP does it, how you can start doing it today, how excited you are.
So I just want to make a comment. So we started looking at interns, and I was part of the panel interviewing, and everybody who we interviewed looked at our LinkedIn profiles. And they came in asking us questions about our profiles, which was quite different to interviewing people who's further in their careers.
That's an awesome
It's again, one of the hardest things, especially with, I work with all our recruitment firms, the truth is your applicants are doing homework on you. They want to know not just how great your company is changing the world, they want to know who their boss is, what they do, what they care about. So great point. Yes, and trust me, before I came here, I researched a lot of people who follow Marco because I wanted to tailor my presentation. It's a great point.
So I'll take it one step further. So part of LinkedIn, there's something called Sales Navigator. You guys? Okay. So that's also another tool that has LinkedIn to really understand more about. So maybe within your customers or even within your own company, you want to understand what kind of feeds there are out there. There's all kind of feeds that basically tell you what's going on, in your company. And that's important to know as well. We used to do that. I mean, we probably still go into the internet and the website and look at somebody and hey, what are they doing? But it's becoming a lot easier, with your phone to be able to do stuff like that.
And one last comment on that: most businesses are B2B in here. A lot of B2B companies, because all your customers and all your prospective buyers are on these platforms, especially LinkedIn. Because it's been around for a while, and the nice thing is there's all the data on who you're trying to reach. So, any questions? I really want to, if I can save you a couple $100 from hiring a outside marketer to help with this, I want to do that today. Because most marketers are not overcomplicated. So, no questions? Wow, I should do a TED Talk after this because it's so amazing. But if there's no questions, really, I just want to thank everyone for paying attention. This might have been a little different, and that's what me and Marco are trying to do here, but I appreciate your attendance. And one last thing is, you connected with people today, just like any good salesperson. It's important to follow up. So definitely make sure to keep going with that conversation after you leave here. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And I will say one more thing.
Thank you.
So one of the things that I do with this, even within SAP, some people ask me, it takes a lot of time out of my day to even look into LinkedIn or whatever. And I actually did an internal presentation called 10 minutes of LinkedIn per week, right? So you kind of get started and you look at it, and then you'll start, realizing, how that can be a tool. But again, it's not just about LinkedIn. I don't want to close this session by just talking about LinkedIn. I'm just talking about even internally, the way that you can communicate. Think of different ways. If you're not being effective a certain way to communicate within your company, look at it from a different perspective. Okay?
And I have a couple books. They're not as good as a mug, because a mug, I think you can do a little bit more than this, but it's a great paperweight in case, and kind of looks cool, right? So, if anyone would like a book, I have a couple here.
Yeah. So, again, thank you very much. I really appreciate the attention. And if you want a book, or maybe...
Free. This wasn't a sales
or if you want, maybe I have one more mug left. And
Just take a
and
selfie.
SAP. Yeah, take a selfie with me. That's it. Everybody, if you want one. The only thing is, what if nobody comes up? All right.
I'll take a selfie with you.
All right, very good.
Do you want me to hold you? That's usually how it
I thought I was doing the entertaining. Excellent. Here we go. Oh.
Thank you guys for participating. That's fun.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, so we got a good break right now to 2 o'clock. This will be up at 2 o'clock, so we got time to see the network and take some more selfies.
Can you send it to me digital? Have a digital copy?
I have two.
I know what it is. The Bluetooth stuff, yeah. Those are
Okay, we're gonna take a selfie with you for
Please,
this.
let's do it.
Right?
Oh my goodness. You say I met the wannabe Blue Bravo today. So.
Hey, Chris from Hey, I know we're connected.
Do you have a long arm? We should go this way.
One. Yes, it was.
See, you're an expert.
Asking some questions, I guess.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
How terrible.
Jennifer, I got your invite.
Good.
Thank you for having our social media game right now.
Hi, Chris.
I sent you a LinkedIn request.
Oh, you're from Avalora, okay.
Yeah, wait.
Tachyon.
Tachyon, okay. What is it? No.
Tachyon in physics means there's a particle that is faster than light.
Okay.
So we are a SAP RPA services company.
Oh, okay.
And you are a tax services.
Yes.
Tax experts.
Yeah, sales tax compliance. Familiar with that?
Yes. One of your marketing colleagues, what is the name?
there's a lot of marketing people, so I don't know who to talk to.
Ladies, gentlemen, if you'd like more food, please help yourself. We're going to be pulling in a minute. Okay?
What do you do for the food?
I run the sales for that.